Some days ago, General Theophilus Danjuma suggested ethnic cleansing is happening in the country. He indicted the army. The statement has elicited a lot of reactions. The latest is coming from the presidency. They are appealing to prominent Nigerians who have issues to relate to them directly, and of some of them who have national influence to use it wisely and not continue to engage in public declarations that are likely to inflame emotional passions and threaten national security. Let's get some perspective to these, perhaps some legal perspective to what the presidency is asking. I have joining me Mr. G.T. Ogunye, a lawyer and a friend of the House. Thank you so much, Mr. Ogunye, for your time on the program tonight. So quickly, what is the legal side today? So from what the presidency has said, do not inflame ethnic division or do not incite people. Those seems to be the reaction from the presidency on some of the ideas and some of the opinions of the former leaders or influential leaders. What do you make of that?
Well, it appears to be the normal and regular thing to say. But I want to think that the federal government exists as a state to deploy its resources, including its law enforcement resource, to preserve law and order, to keep the peace, protect life and property. And so if the federal government does this very well, perhaps you won't see people out of desperation making statements, reiterating the right to self-defense, because it does appear that in many instances, people are helpless right now. So,
will self-defense be that? I mean, if people are helpless, will self-defense be an option?
It's an option recognized by law. It's an option if law enforcement or security agencies are not available. So, what do you presume should happen to people who are being
security
invaded?
agencies are available.
Look, even within the context of the war that is being waged in the Northeast, self-defense is eminently recognized. What do you call, or what do Nigerians call, the civilian JTF, who are using their local weapons to defend their territory? That's self-defense. I don't want to, government and their allies and friends can engage in brickbats, political brickbats, but I'm talking about what the law says is a recognized right. The right to self-defense is not only a constitutional right under Section 33, subsection 2A of the Constitution, but it's also a statutory right. It's a criminal law right. For example, under Section 191 and 192 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2011 and Section 286 and 287 of the Criminal Code, meaning that a Nigerian is entitled to self-defense in case of unprovoked attack, unprovoked assault, or even provoked assault. If you have provoked an assault, for example, and there's a retaliation, and that retaliation is of such a force as to make him feel that he may be killed, he can then use force in self-defense to the extent that that person is using. So the law expects that the resisting force be commensurate to the invading force. Right. General Danjuma, for example, knows that there's a law called the Firearms Act. And there's nothing that is said, for example, that suggested that people should carry arms. He didn't say that word. He said, defend yourself. The military is partisan. The military is not neutral. And the truth of the matter is that in time past, in recent time, in the run-up to the 2015 election, the military betrayed partisanship, for example. So you can say that we've not had such incident in Ekiti, leading to the retirement or sack of some military officer when the power turned. For example, on the issue of the certificate, the military spokesman saying that they couldn't find the certificate, we found it and all that. So we can debate all that, but the right to self-defense is recognized. And I'd rather that the federal government concentrate on that which should protect life and property. If the federal government does that and does that very well, nobody will be making statements reiterating the right to self-defense.
All right, let's go to one of a major story of the day. Perhaps some of the things that you are talking about During the week, the president was in Lagos. He attended the Bola Tinubu colloquium. A lot was said at that event. The APC national leader, Bola Tinubu, and the vice president, Professor Shimbajo, both of them insisted they will continue to talk about corruption of the immediate past administration. The PDP replied them, saying they either try those they claim looted or stop talking about it. The next day, less than 24 hours, the information minister, Lai Mohammed, gave what he called a teaser list. Well, that teaser list was perhaps batch 1. Batch 2 has been released a few minutes before we got onto the studio here. The federal government said the list of alleged looters, which it released earlier, was based on verifiable facts, including the amount involved, the date the amount in question was collected, and from where it was taken. So you can see there on your screen. So there is a new list. In a statement issued in Lagos on Sunday, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, also said those complaining that the list was too short apparently did not understand that it was strategically released as a teaser. Let's get the conversation started. It just gets started on the program, everyone. Sit tight. So I have joining me, Segun Showumi is a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party. He's in Lagos here with us. Of course, you know, Mr. G.T. Ogunye has been on seat here. So let me begin the conversation with Mr. Showumi. Many thanks for coming on the program tonight.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you. The list, are you appalled? Are you disheartened that some of the members, some of your friends who are members of your party have their names here? Perhaps they're not new to you, are they?
Well, I think what we should first of all do is put those things in context. The law expects that when you allege, you must prove. And the law also expects that once you put a case in court, people must be immune from media trial that could substantially damage their reputation before you finally exhaust the arguments before a court, and then you will be able to say they're either guilty or they are not guilty. The double jeopardy there is that what if you get to court and you cannot prove your case and the man is now not guilty? You would have damaged his reputation to such a point that it will take him unnecessary time to be able to recover, and he may not be able to recover it. Having said that, this list came up as a result of the colloquium that was done for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the one-time governor of Lagos State, who had the privilege of ruling Lagos State for just 8 years. We know how he came in. We know the kind of resources that was available to him. We know what has become of him in those period. We know how he has converted Lagos into a fiefdom. We know how his wife has become one of the most brilliant senators suddenly in the country from Lagos. We know how his daughter has become the best marketer in the country. We know how his sons have become the owners of most of the choice properties in Lagos. We know how he's the owners of...
You know, and these are your own words anyways, Mr. Showumi. Yeah, some of the things that you say you know.
Let me.
I just wanted to be able to substantiate some of the claims you're bringing to the table.
We will substantiate some. You cannot argue the fact that his wife is a senator now, two-time senator in this country. So let's not stay too long. What I want to say really about the list is this. The federal government has to be careful now. The EFCC, which is a creation of our own party, has within its powers the right to investigate people, take them to court. And I'm sure that the EFCC has a media or communication department that can allow them to release information in a systematic manner. Once the federal government jumps in and starts to release all sorts of information, most of which are not true, then it means that, one, they give the impression that the EFCC is no longer able to do its job unhounded. Two, it gives the impression that every time the federal government the APC federal government is in want of what to say to the Nigerians, it comes up with these big figures that is, and I'll go to the list specifically and you will get my point now. The number one name they put on that list is Prince Uche Secondus, our chairman. You would wonder that, did they forget that when they arrested him for having one transaction that has to do with maybe getting cars, he took them to court because they detained him and they went to trial. He won. They got a penalty of 10 million naira that they were meant to pay, the EFCC were meant to pay. They ran to the Court of Appeal when they finally woke up from their slumber. They are in court of appeal trying to get the case to be listed so that their appeal can be mentioned. They are not prosecuting that they appeal. They are not bringing it up. The 10 million naira fine that they are supposed to pay to the man as a result of the judgment of Justice Tuso has not been paid. The man himself has never been re-invited for whatever reason as a result of this. He says he has no knowledge, and he says that he has never ever had anything to do with the money. They come now with figures that says that they have a date and a time, and it gives them 48 hours to retract it, or he's going to take them to court. Of course, if he were to be guilty, he wouldn't say that. If they were to be sure, they wouldn't wait until we get into the resetting of the agenda mood of the country for the party and the reimaging of our party before they now started to throw all of this. Then the Olisametu matter. You will also ask yourself one question. Have we become a nation of hypocrites who pretend as if we do not know how election communications are funded from all parties in Nigeria? In any case, Olisa was not a minister. Olisa had no access to sign any form. Olisa Metu, as minister of the community, as the national public secretary, is not a part of government. And you're holding him, and he's in court. And yet, you're not even allowing the trial to go on uninhibited. You are meddling in it. You are sensationalizing it. You put the name of the National Security Advisor.
Because, I mean,
many courts have given him bail.
Yeah.
You've never allowed
because if you take these names one after the other, we'll probably spend the whole day here. And the question would be, because the case you're talking about the national chairman of your party, is a case where the APC had said, or the federal government has said, these monies are monies related to the NSA and the monies that were spent around the election period, which were said to have been collected from an NSA. So these are some of the issues. But the question will be, Mr. Shoumi, are you saying the PDP in the past administration was not corrupt?
I'm saying that the PDP in the past administration did the best it could managing the country.
You still not answer the question. Mr. Shoumi, the question, because we do not have time. Are you telling Nigerians who are watching you right now?
I am saying that
the APC, I mean the PDP rather, in the past administration, where the former the vice president did say 5 years of the past administration actually crippled our economy. Are you saying there were no corruption in the past administration?
I am saying that it would be careless and irresponsible to make statements that you cannot validate in court. Once you make allegations, you must charge people. Once you charge them, you must have the discipline to allow the entire legal process go through its route. And when you come out with the verdict of corruption, then we'll say, okay, that has been proven. You cannot just mess people up. You cannot just use words. And the vice president, who comes sanctimoniously, like a pope in black dress, to start saying and using figures that they cannot even substantiate really. They pretend that there is some smoking gun, and when you go to trial, you don't even, the early stages of it, you can't see them asking for the figures that they are banding.
Okay, thank God just a moment. Thank God we have a lawyer here, Mr. Ogunye is here, and you perhaps will be involved in some of these corruption cases.